Well, welcome to another episode in our series, Creativity and Innovation for Knowledge Management Programs. Today our theme is Creativity and Knowledge Management. My name is John Girard, and I'm so happy to be joined by my good friend Stephanie Barnes in Berlin. Stephanie, thanks so much for joining me today.
Oh, thank you. I'm looking forward to this.
Stephanie, I know you're a big proponent of creativity in the workplace, but I sometimes wonder if creativity and knowledge management really work well together. Let me give you an example. Let's use the term best practices. It's a term I don't really like, but it's very common in KM circles. And in many cases, the replication of that idea that works somewhere else seems to me to be the opposite of creativity. It seems to me that so many of our KM tools and techniques are simply recipe-based and almost discourage creativity. So what do you think?
I agree. That's that was easy. That's probably not the answer you were expecting. I agree. There are a lot of activities within KM that are recipe based, that are, do this and this and this, and you'll be wonderful and you'll have wonderful knowledge management. But I think there are other activities that are all about being creative and being innovative and finding a new solution to things. There's still some process in them, but they're about bringing different people together, and they're about asking questions and learning, which in itself is creative. So I think there's a balance there, and I think we need to keep that in mind as knowledge management people.
And one of the things that does excite me is there does seem to be more discussion about these ideas about creativity and innovation, and maybe even those being better than just blindly following best practices. What about this idea of just doing things that are radically new and never been done before? How does that fit into knowledge management?
I think it's about knowledge creation, right? So it's not just about reusing. We get a lot of talk in knowledge management circles around reusing, learning, taking something from somewhere else and applying it to our situation. But there absolutely is a place for creation of new knowledge. And that's where that comes from. That's where the innovation comes from. That's from where keeping an open mind and asking questions and doing some of the things that I do in some of my workshops about making people a little bit uncomfortable, whether that's painting or whether it's playing some music or, doing different things to make people uncomfortable and do something differently and look at the world differently.
Your comment on comfort, and folks in the KM world, I believe, like to work in their comfort zone. I guess all of us like to work in the comfort zone, not just folks in KM. One of the areas that I think we could be doing more in, that I believe fits into this creativity, is in the use of technology and data to help create that knowledge. And I think some of our colleagues are kind of behind the times, that they're relying solely on the time-tested techniques, more about human interaction. What do you think about using technology and data to create new knowledge?
I think there's a place for that. I think that knowledge management for as long as I have been doing knowledge management, 20 years, that there's been this divide between technology and people and process. And really the value is in putting those all together. And that's, been my approach to KM. I think it's been your approach to KM as well, and a few other people. And we don't try and bring that technology together with the people and process and not get split into silos.
And I think it is that balance, isn't it? We have to get that balance right. I've seen lately more of our colleagues sort of staying away from the data, possibly because they really don't understand how to implement it. And we're always a little concerned about moving into directions that we might not understand or not fully understand how to implement. What else do we need to talk about in terms of creativity and knowledge management?
I like to make people uncomfortable and make them challenge their assumptions and not do that cookie cutter that, I'm just going to take the best practice from over here and apply it here. That doesn't work. Organizations are different, people are different, organizational cultures are different. That doesn't work. And so it's important, I think, to keep an open mind. So that's part of what I do in the workshops and things that I'm doing, is challenge people a little bit and make them think about things a little bit, not just go, we've always done it this way. Well, why? Why have you always done it this way? What happens if that assumption that you've made is not true? You know, what happens, to come back to your previous question about technology and data, what happens if data isn't the evil, half cousin of knowledge management? What if it's a full on, component, and we need to pay more attention to the technology and the data in our knowledge management activities?
Great. Well, listen, Stephanie, thanks so much for a great chat about creativity and acknowledgement, some great ideas, and that was a great summary you just provided. Hey, let's talk again soon.
That would be great.
All right. Well, listen, please be sure to like this video and subscribe so you don't miss future episodes. And of course, post any comments you have and we'll do our best to answer them in future episodes. Thanks so much for being with me today, Stephanie.
Thanks.